panel 2 is Industry Academia Synergy, Attract, Train, Retain, Industry-Ready Workforce. So for this, I would like to welcome Dr. Sriram. He'll be moderating the session. He is CEO, Cybersecurity, COE, DSCI. Welcome on stage, sir.
The kind of challenges that we have in India, where awareness and all these have yet to be built. So how do we address all of these, and where do we bring? So specific to this panel discussion, it's about Industry Academia Connect. How do we build that important connect? Because there are problems on both sides, right? Industry says that the academic people are not ready, and the academic people say, how on earth do we bring up talent to the industry level, to ever-changing demands? Where do we have the faculty to do that, and so on? So I'd like to add one more dimension to this, which is the people who are already in the industry, who want to reskill themselves, who are people who want to move into cybersecurity, people who are at different levels of the organization, all the way till the C-level, who need constant training, whether it is on risk management practices or the new products and services that are coming out. How do we solve this conundrum? So that is what we are here for. So essentially, right from policy level down to the practices that they follow, to the problems and challenges and the practices that they follow. Let's discuss this in brief. So I hope there will be adequate number of takeaways for all of us here from this good panel discussion. So what I'll do is I'll break this into three. One is the problems, first question. The second one will be the solutions. And the third one will be the future trends. And also, how do we future-proof our strategies? So I'll keep it very simple. And based on the experience of the speakers, they will answer the questions, bringing in their wealth of knowledge, experience, and expertise. So first, I'd like to turn to Madam Selvarani and ask, saying that what do you feel are the top few challenges and problems? So from the point of view of, so whenever I talk, it's from the point of view of the workforce, attracting talent, training and upgrading talent, and retaining the talent, finally. These three. Again, since this is AISS being run by DSCI, I urge you to keep in mind this is cybersecurity and privacy. Cybersecurity and privacy talent is what we are talking about. Okay. And of particular importance is the talent that is being fed from the bottom end of the pipeline, that is the freshers, the people from the colleges that are coming out. So how do we manage this? Yes, madam.
Thank you, sir. So good evening all. So the one important point which is coming to me is the skill gap. That is the most challenge one. So I would like to just give you one statistics on this. According to AISS Square's Cybersecurity Workforce Report 2024, what they say, there is a shortage of skill of cybersecurity professionals of 3.4 million in 2024 globally. If we take India, we expect to reach 1.5 million shortage of cybersecurity professionals by 2025. So how do we fill this gap? This is a main issue. So there is an impact because of this skill gap. Why I'm saying? Because the organizations are mostly impacted. Number one, the organizations are more vulnerable to the advanced attacks, right? The ransomware attacks or the data breaches or insider attacks, etc. Because of the lack of skill set. That is number one. And second one is cost impact. Every organization, if they are prone to this ransomware attack or any organization which is impacted by this ransomware attack. So as per one of the report, it says that as an average of $1.5 million are spent by that impacted organization. This is number two. So the third one is, I'll come to the academia. If you see the academia, the syllabus, right? There is a misalignment in the curriculum that, because still if you see the colleges and universities, they are teaching cybersecurity as a subset of IT. Okay, it is not a separate discipline. I'm not saying that, it should not be coming under computer science or something, because still computing is there, then threats are more and more, right? So, but there is some kind of advanced topics are missing as part of the curriculum. For example, I can say zero trust, okay? And the quantum crypto, all IoT security, threat hunting. So the previous panel also, they were discussing all the skill gaps. Yes, we need to focus more on the skill gaps that is missing. And also the cyber threat landscape is increasing every day. Because of that, we see a rise in advanced threats, right? AI-driven threats, that is automated phishing, etc. And also ransomware as a service. It's merely a, it's a professionalized crime actually. And coming to the last point is retention. Every organization, one report is saying that the 58% of cybersecurity professionals are leaving their job. Why? Because there is no clear career path given to them. So that also a gap which needs to be addressed. Lastly, certification. Certification and learning is more important. That is also, I feel it's a gap. So these are all the things which needs to be addressed. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very good points. Thanks for bringing them out so crisply. So the first thing is that the government has taken note, the industry has taken note of these big gaps, because the pain is being felt very strongly. Okay. So AICTE has approved a complete BTech in cybersecurity. So since that has started 2-3 years ago, you should see in 1 or 2 years, depending on how quickly the institutions have adopted, entire batches of BTech cybersecurity coming out. Okay, so that is one thing that has taken. Secondly, certifications and courses. Very many certifications courses. People in the industry, they can always rely on some of the certifications what DSCI offers, like DCPLA for privacy, DPO for this one, what you call DPO officers, and such. For AI also there has one come out. And a number of such programs that come out throughout the year, right, ranging from malware analysis to, you'd say, threat hunting to, there are all the courses from DSCI. I would urge everyone to keep, if you have not subscribed, please do that. That is an easy thing to do for people who are in the industry. Now, for the academia, there are different types. One is people who offer electives. The second is people who have taken it further, say multiple semesters courses and all, and people who have done a full-blown BTech in cybersecurity and MTech in cybersecurity, which are there. How do we make them industry ready? Are these enough? What are the skill gaps and all? So again, the problems. I'd like to turn to Mr. Gautaman.
Hey, hi, good evening everyone. Nice to see you here. I will slightly tilt it in a way that I would like to portray what I'm seeing in the industry versus the academia. I see, this is like two cents, right? From an industry perspective, the problem what we face today is about, is it a risk-driven or it's a compliance-driven? Most of the time, what we are seeing is, it's again a compliance-driven. If it has been mandated, right? Because of a compliance program, we still go ahead and invest a lot more things. And investment is there, because of which we require, for each and every investment, we need a manpower, right? When we try to find a manpower, that is also not there, right? So, very important aspect of it is, how do we identify, gone are the days where it's a risk-based approach. Now it's about, be very clear, what is your business risk? If you're not going to marry your business risk with the cybersecurity, no, whatever cybersecurity initiatives that you're taking care route right now, that will utterly fail, right? So this is what I see right now. There is no a benchmarking exercise, right? From a risk quantification perspective. It goes by a gut feeling. It goes by what the management is expecting, or how do we go ahead and get a budget. Those are challenges which I see from an industry perspective. Now, these are challenges. This has to be fed to the students, right? When you go to academia. Academia already we have been listening out to panel members. They have been saying we don't have hands-on experience for the students, right? That's obviously that is there. More than that, what I see is how do we bring all these issues, right, into the subject curricula, right? One thing which is missing in almost all the discussion which I could this is my personal view, I see there is a mentorship view is not there. Right? See, for example, if I've got 20 years of experience, how do I go ahead and then take this experience to the academia, right? One is then, even though they have got hands-on, even though has been skilled, right? How they going to really operate it and take it forward inside the organization? That is something which is important. If academia can focus on the mentorship programs, how do I get to know an industry leader? And what sort of experience he has got it, and what are the problems he has faced, and lessons learned, importantly, from an incident or from a privacy law perspective. That's again an important subject. We have been talking about cybersecurity, but then privacy understanding or knowledge, that is not coming up very clearly, which is very much required. So I think these are some of the challenges, sir, from an industry. If they can map it to the academia, that will be really great. And I see this is an overall challenge with respect to industry and then academics.
So yes, certainly. Thanks for bringing all this out. The challenges are there in the sense that how do we upgrade our workforce to have the skills to solve the problems of the contemporary problems of the world, and also participate in the big game of automation and all, which will reduce some of the burdens. So of course there are so many products, you see so many here, startups which are there in AISS, plus all the big companies which are there, and the different sessions that are happening, efforts are being made. Now, to consciously have these students develop interest so that they are able to go and build a career in cybersecurity, that is the big challenge. So we need to make cybersecurity a real attractive, respectable, good field, which it is, having a good growth and all. And the new ones like privacy. About 137 countries in the world have adopted privacy laws. So certainly that should see a spurt in privacy norms. Privacy professionals and all, which includes law plus privacy enhancing technologies and so on. So next I'd like to turn to Rajiv for his views.
Sure. Hello everyone. Very happy to be here, being the non-technical person sitting in the panel and talking on this topic. But going to be making it more experiential. So when the problem statement from a talent perspective, as you talked about, when I really look at it, it's not the attraction problem. When we look at the candidates or the talent from a cybersecurity perspective, it is, the perfect analogy is that you're actually, it's like finding the right talent. It's not availability, but it's the right talent in that context where you have a perfect needle of a cybersecurity professional who you want to find from a haystack, and the problem is the haystack is only growing and needle is actually taking different shapes every now and then. And this I'm saying basis of journey I have covered. I started my career with HCL. I saw the e-security practice in the infra side of the business to the IT services company where we are talking about DevSecOps being the important element of product development cycle in the SDLC. Now, that's one problem statement. The second problem statement is from a talent perspective itself is when a talent is on the job, it's like, the talent is actually building the ship while sailing in it. That's how it's evolving, right? Every now and then the threats are changing, the perspective is evolving, the API compromise, specific threats are there, ransomware situations would emerge. Now, when we look at it from a talent perspective, these are our challenges. So if we were to look at talent from academia standpoint, I think it's very theoretical perspective. There's no cyber labs in the academia. There is, as Dr. Siram just talked about, there would be a dedicated program from an engineering perspective which would be on cybersecurity, but the fact of the matter today is that everybody who comes out of the engineering colleges, they're actually more tuned or close to development cycle. And even within that, they don't know much of DevSecOps, which is a very essential part of the security in the product lifecycle development. Now, that's another challenge which we see. Now, in addition to this, from a business standpoint, building on your point, Gautam, our biggest threat from a business standpoint is that how do we make sure that client feels secure from the IP perspective? And we are absolutely remote company. 85% of people have not come back to office yet, working from 300 cities across India, for example, from offshore standpoint. Now, how do we ensure that, right? That's where the CISO job becomes very critical. They need to make sure that they are actually deploying, and our CISO was never a role before. Now, ever since the pandemic happened, for us it became a role as well. Otherwise, the CIO organization was managing the security elements to it. So that's another challenge which we see. So I think it's more about the right talent and also ensuring that they're continuously evolving in terms of the context of the business scenario we have today. And the perfect analogy with I'll actually sum up this problem statement is, we talk about this entire machine learning age and now we're talking about AI, etc. It's always important from a talent standpoint to be, to be learning machine in this age of machine learning. That summarizes the problem statement for us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So I'd like Mohit's views on this.
Hi everyone, my name is Mohit. And thank you DSCI team for putting me here with the industry veterans so that I can also share my 2 cents on this particular topic. So I think the gap is because of the curriculum that are designed in the colleges. Because if I see from the information security standpoint, there are many fields that have evolved like recently. Like if you say dark web threat intelligence, that is something in India, few of the companies have started working into this particular domain: attack surface monitoring, dark threat intelligence, OSINT, these frameworks. From the DevSecOps standpoint, majority of the companies that are lacking while implementing DevSecOps practices, right? So some of the tools has slowly started implementing IAST, SCA, SAST, or DAS practices. So we need to create certain advisory boards within universities, right, wherein they can directly get in touch with the industry leaders who are working on those kind of threats or those kind of programs or implementations. Apart from that, now AI LLM is very much a buzzword, right, and most of the companies are working on fine-tuning the models. So if I talk about from that perspective, there are many LLM threats that as a cyber security expert, we are also still evolving to learn those patterns, those models, and those nitty-gritties of those models. So I think companies or universities should include advisory boards and then those industry leaders within the advisory board so that they can comment on what is the industry trend or what are the next gen technologies that they are working on, what are the security aspects of it on which they are working, like SIM and SOC. I saw like in the previous panel somebody mentioned the SOC. And apart from that, there is also one challenge that I see. Many of the OEM, they are shifting towards the managed services approach, right? So due to which the technicalities of the things are hidden, right? More or less, people are not able to do the technical work. Initially, like the past, we were making the jobs, Jenkins jobs, integrating the tools directly within the pipelines, right? But now, if you see, there are many vendors that are available who are doing it on a plug-and-play model, right? You can just click on a particular button, and the integration is done, right? So those things will also, and you'll not get the resources, technical resources around them. So these are the challenges, I think, due to which the skill gap is there, right? And we need to work upon those challenges.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mohit. Yeah. So these are very relevant challenges, in fact, and it is pinching everyone. So one of the things is the immense, further to that point, that interest, how we develop. For example, one can put somebody through a training program. Okay, let's say 1-week training program, 3-day training program, in which you take a tool, you explain the concepts, you take a tool, and then you walk him through certain scenarios, you make him do certain hands-on exercise and all that. But that is just the beginning. He's taken a peck at it. After that, the real expertise comes from when he, on his own, goes back and starts doing hundreds upon hundreds of scenarios on his own. That is how the expertise is built. Because everything is quite deep. It is like any area, algorithms also. It's not merely that the few questions that are given, I'm preparing for an exam. What really drives him to go back and test out hundreds of things, do hundreds of problems, and then do that, and then cultivate a different view or a mindset in which he can identify problems. Maybe he will even go building a startup. That is very good, okay, or really help his organizations. That kind of cutting edge expertise is something that needs to be developed. All will not fit the bill, but wherever they are, they will go on improving, gradually upgrading their talent. So that is what we will need to. I think exposure and training play a key role. Exposure comes from, well, if you take interns, I highly urge you, who are here, take more interns who will help you intern. Okay, that turn on to the solutions side, and Yes, Madam Selvarani, solutions to the problems that have all been outlined so far in this discussion, yeah? This should be the interesting part of the discussion, yeah.
Thank you, sir. So, whatever the problems we had discussed so far, some of the solutions which are coming to my mind is, number one, as we said, that curriculum needs to be looked upon. Mr. Sriram said that already the curriculum is looked into it and some universities are incorporating it. But I feel that it is to be incorporated uniformly across India, all the institutions. And number two is the institutions, right? They have to have a very strong partnership with the industry global leaders so that they can incorporate the vendor-based training for their students, which will be very helpful because of the keeping in view of the advanced threats as of today. That is point number two. And three is the practical scenarios, right? The colleges, more theoretical concepts are being taught through. So there should be a practical scenarios. For example, one example I can say, capture the flag, and how do we do the incident response, run books, okay, all those things can be taught through practical scenarios. And maybe we can create a virtual environment for those students to get the real-time, real-world challenges, right? For example, they can create attacks and the defenses. So they can get those ideas. So when they are coming to industry, they will be industry-ready material. I agree. 1 or 2 trainings will not do. With that basic training, when they come to industry, they will have an idea how to go forward, right? That is the one. And also certainly the certifications, okay, that is most important. By having a strong partnership with the industry, the internship training, right, those things, that will be, that will resolve the issues. So in the previous panel, they were talking about the long-term industrial training, right, the paid training. That is really, I also agree to it. The people who are going for 2 months training, 1 month training, they will not be able to capture everything. If it is a long-term training, maybe for 6 months or 8 months, all those things are policy reforms which needs to be looked at a higher level. But this is a suggestion, like to address those issues. And one of the thing what I have seen in my industry is gamification. Okay, by creating, it's a very powerful tool to attract the younger talents to the cyber security. That is the most important one. We can use the platforms, right? Try Hack Me and Hack the Box and all that. And also conduct hackathons and bug bounty. Those contests can be carried out to attract the young talents. So that way we can get very good skilled people from the market or from the colleges. And I also mentioned about the one gap is retention gap. Yes, certainly organizations, I'm not mentioning all the organizations, maybe some of the organizations, they have to give a clear career path to their associates, to their employees, right? Today I'm in a junior analyst position, so tomorrow or maybe after 5 years, what is my position? That they should know, so that the retention can be very effective. Apart from the monetary one I'm not going to touch, but this is one where we need to clearly tell them. Okay, and certifications, yes. So some of the niche areas like forensic analysis, the quantum crypto and all this, we need to really train them and get them certified. So to combat the attacks and detection of attacks and everything. So these are all the ways we can address.
Good solutions. I hope the audience has taken note. Very good, valuable advice. So actually speaking, what we do at Cybersecurity Center of Excellence also, we've done this, our industry academia partnership. See, industry can come in at every level, right from setting up the labs to hiring and recruiting talent, both permanent talent as well as internships and all those. And another thing I'd urge you to do is tap into your alumni network. Okay, for the industry academia connect, all of you should tap into the alumni network, those of the colleges who are there. And then there are a lot of adequate number of alumni who are in industry. And then those people can come back, help, teach and do courses, fund labs and do all those things. So that is there. And gamification is important not only at junior level, but at senior level also. So if you were to break it down, you should have faculty development, train the trainers, student development, then you should have hackathons, okay, so that people are motivated and then they get those hands-on skills. And at the end of it, the hackathons, those people can be hired or recognized. And then there should be more talent hiring as such. That means there should be regular forums for hiring talent in these areas. Then you should have research conferences. So more research conferences, let's say whether it is IEEE or Springer or the college itself, they should have more and more research conferences so that the students who are interested in research and academia, they can do that. Okay. So, and industry connect, such as we have one Indo-Dutch cybersecurity course which we are doing from our Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, wherein experts from both India and Netherlands are teaching virtually. So that is there. Our hackathon, Great AppSec Hackathon, garnered 10,000 registrations from 20 plus countries and 29 states of India. And also this one, hackathon, had 10,000 registrations. Okay. So what happens is, as a result of it, you vastly encourage the awareness. Even people who could not win the prizes or anything, they know about application security, they know about many things. And that is how we start boosting the system with cybersecurity. Yeah, Gautam, solutions, please.
So solutions, I think, over the course of previous panel sessions, and then I'm completely aligned on whatever they've been saying from an academics perspective. In that specific, I would like to cover something on automation is the key successor, right? That's something which is important. See, today, the industry faces something, security professional, right? L1, security analyst. He sits most of the time analyzing only false positives, right? 60% of the time is spent only on false positive. And then if you go to industry as well, they don't really invest on SOA capability. When you say SOA capability, it's about automating it and then getting results out of it. That should be the focus. And it should be driven by AI and ML. If that is going to be the case from an academics perspective, training on them, these methodologies is here really going to see a lot more differentiation. That is number one. Number two, what I say is, once after, imagine that automation is even done. Now, what they're going to do from an industry perspective, if they've been given an opportunity to go and present something in front of a top management, right? Or to present something, how do you go and present it, right? Today's go ahead, and then if you see at the industry, what happens is traditional methodology, risk assessment, it has got 100 line items, which talks about high, low, and medium. High itself, there are 100 high. Which one you go and prioritize? And that's the reason I'm just saying solution. While we learn the training on all this technical core subject, there is another thing which is also about how do we look at the risk per se, right? Especially cyber risk. How are we going to translate those risks into a dollar value conversion? That is something which is important, right? See, I've been advocating one of this FAIR methodology, which is in the global right now. This is an open source. Anyone can go ahead and do this, and I have seen DSCI is advocating it as well. This is how it talks about cyber risk quantification, fair analysis of information risk. Using it, you can go ahead and then understand what is the risk which has been faced by an organization, and within that, how are we going to prioritize it? What are the initiatives that you should be doing it, which has been backed by a data-driven methodology, right? If you go and present in this format to the top management, you can easily win budgets. That skill should also be there for the students who are undergoing all these technical capabilities as well. While been mastering all these things, I think there'll be a great resource for everyone to go ahead and then implement some of world-class implementations for the organizations.
Thank you. Over to you, Rajiv.
I think enough is said, and I'll not repeat the tape because Selvarani and Gaudaman has covered almost everything. I'll actually just build on to it by adding a couple of things. One is, we talked about the talent gap from a campus or academia perspective. One is, how do we bring in the continuous learning element to the organization scheme of things? That's going to be the important element. The other important thing which is actually not talked about is, it's not only about technology awareness and awareness of the cybersecurity threats. It's also about the impact of behaviors. Sometimes these are unintentional and not really thought through. And I've seen most of the times where unfortunately we have had those difficult conversations with the employees. Some of them had actually without any intention, without any ulterior motives, had performed certain actions which led them to get into a level 2 warning or level 3 warning, which resulted into loss of job as well. That piece is very essential. We don't really talk about that sometimes, but that is very essential, that how do we orient the talent into those aspects that their behavior, their actions could lead to significant impact to the overall business of the company as well as to customer, because you may end up exposing. I've seen people, they were changing their laptop and they didn't realize that they were just uploading some of the things in the open source, which was not the secured platform, without any wrong intention. But then it got exposed. I saw there was an employee who actually was using the VLAN of, and it was a restricted one, of a customer. He was required to monitor certain aspects of networking into that, and he was watching video in that, and from to using the proxy system. So those kind of things really cause a lot of heartburn for the organization and business, and that's why I think the behavioral aspects is also an important element where we need to invest a lot of time.
Absolutely, I agree. So, Mohit?
Yes, so in the past question we touched upon the security side of things. I would also say, like, as soon as the cadre will increase or the designation will got increase, you'll slowly start looking into the resiliency practices of the organization along with the security, because most of the organization are playing on the availability, right? If let's say there is a 1 hour or 30 minutes downtime, then they'll be bearing a 75 lakh rupees loss or 1 crore loss. So you'll also start looking into, like, if you are, when we were talking about the skilling gap, so resiliency is also one thing that we should align with the security, so that there should be no single point of failure items within your environment, right? And apart from that, I guess that's pretty much it from my side.
Sure. Thank you very much. I think it's time to wrap it up. Maybe I take a couple of questions. But before that, I'd just like to mention that it's essential to keep an eye on the markets, in the sense that talent should be market oriented, because if you have trained, and there are no markets for it, then what's the use of all this talent? Or you have trained in some areas wherein those skills have got automated off, then also there is no use that you have trained for something that is not there. So one needs to keep a close alignment. Again, you need to take the industry's help in making them a part of the board of studies, ensuring that there is alignment in terms of both theory and skills which are there. Labs and all what is happening is really practical. Again, these internships and other programs and hackathons and all will really help. So we really need to wrap it up. Any questions? Probably we'll take a few. Yeah.
So, as a panel has already said, that the main problem is lack of drive between the academia interns. So, actually, it's not quite of a question, but a suggestion from my side, that what I feel is the lack of drive is also the reason, because there is lack of idle in the field of cybersecurity. Like, if we talk about scientists, we have Albert Einstein and Newton as an idol for us to chase after them. So if we do have idols in the field of cybersecurity as well, so I think that most of the new generation will chase after them and also be motivated to get in the field of cybersecurity. What does the panel think about it?
Yeah, I know. So probably I'll answer on everybody, because the thing is that there are idols. That's why forums like DSCI and all are there, so that what happens is the industry leaders who are there, people get exposure. So when there are various levels of the industry, that means at various levels of experience, they are exposed to these people. There's a growth path, and we see that what they are doing, they are saving so many billions of dollars. They are de-risking systems, otherwise our banking and all would not happen safely. And many other operations would not happen. And when there is connection with the academia, the same happens, saying that, yes, there are all these big things going on. There are these big industry standards, there are committees, there are practices, all of these things, and there are leaders who are driving it. So this is happening. I think more of it needs to happen so that people get exposure. Because relatively, compared to the other field which you mentioned, cybersecurity is a new field. About 10 years ago only it picked up caught fire, right? So to speak, and all this started coming out. If you were to take any area like IoT security, In the past 3 years alone, probably 6 standards were released. Okay. So if you were to go by that yardstick, I think we have been doing fairly well compared to the other areas, right? And many of these were theoretically there. AI, for example, a lot of theory, maths was there earlier also, but it has caught fire only in the past few years. So that way, and it has become democratized. So in that manner, that is very well on its track. Any other question? One more question before we wrap up. Yeah, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Atman. I think one topic which the panel touched upon today is that having that business acumen and business risk, right? Like having the technical skill is one thing, but then how to understand business and convert our skills into that language. One solution which you spoke about is that the academia, we can start at the academia level, but my question is that there are so many talented people who are there right now doing the security work, and they are really talented, really technical people, but they may not be able to acquire this business acumen. So how can we develop that, and how can we make that switch in that particular individual who is like really technical, who understand in-depth technical skills, but they may not be great in terms of converting that into a business language, because that's, I think, important, not just at the industry level, but at an individual level as well, so that, you know, they also have a professional growth.
Yeah, I think in the interest of time, I'll take that. So the management side, the business side, B schools, the management schools, they also need to bring in this cyber, and it's not just in the technical and engineering side, the legal side and other professions. The other thing is mentoring and more frameworks, practices, standards, all of this come in, and as it is they are drilled in, then people start climbing up the ladder and doing that. So that is happening. You're right, there are gaps everywhere, but they need to be filled. Okay. I hope that answers. Anyone else has anything to add?
Question is interesting. Could you please repeat that question, please?
Yeah.
Crisp.
Yeah, sure. I'm just saying that the technical skills may be there with an individual, but how they can develop more business acumen and convert their skills into more business language so that the board understands, or the C-level executives understand the problem as well.
Got it. I think he answered it. See, there are a lot of community initiatives which is happening across industry right now, like DSCI. I've been part of a lot of council programs. At least I am a council in many of those programs as well. I would request you to connect with mentorship, right? The leaders, because they can only understand your talent, right? And you are the raw level, the root level, and then how do we really tap your talent and then take it to a C level, because they can only groom you. But that experience, you need to be understanding it from the community initiatives. You need to go and meet them up and then participate in some of our hackathons and whatever you said. That would be the simplest way for you to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to all the speakers for such interesting discussion. I would like to invite Neha to give this token of appreciation to all the speakers. Thank you so much, everyone.